A ship split in half in waters southwest of Hong Kong. 3 crew members rescued so far. Strong wind signal number 3 now in force with severe tropical storm Chaba moving further away from the city. And a seminar on President Xi Jinping's speech on the future of one country, 2 systems. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. An engineering ship split in half in waters southwest of Hong Kong amid treacherous conditions brought about by Typhoon Chaba, which struck the city overnight. Sources say the vessel has already sunk. Government flying service aircraft have been sent to the area to conduct search and rescue operations. So far, rescuers have hauled at least 3 crew members to safety. Timothy Lee has the story.
The Government Flying Service, or GFS, has dispatched 2 fixed-wing aircraft and 4 helicopters to the site of the accident. Footage provided by the GFS appeared to show the ship had been broken in half, with parts of its body having already sunk. Crashing waves have so far hindered the GFS's ability to assess the true extent of the damage to the vessel. At 7:30 this morning, the GFS received information about a mainland engineering ship being split in half in waters around 300 kilometers off the southwest of Hong Kong. An estimated 30 crew members abandoned ship. The subsequent rescue operation proved difficult due to treacherous weather conditions. The Government Flying Service noted waves reached as high as 10 meters tall, meaning it was difficult for helicopter rescue missions to be carried out. Sources say the ship has now sunk completely, and the GFS is verifying the exact number of people who were on board. The rescue operation is still ongoing. Cheung Sai-Teng, chairman of the Hong Kong Seamen's Union, suspects the accident was caused by an uneven distribution of cargo on the vessel. He added those who are traveling at sea should pay close attention to weather reports and avoid taking routes that would cross paths with typhoons. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The typhoon signal number 8 brought about by Chaba was in force for around 21 hours before it was replaced by the strong wind signal number 3 this afternoon. This will remain in effect before midnight. Due to the bad weather, most public services had been suspended. Christy Khan reports.
Typhoon Chaba thrashed Hong Kong and brought heavy rain and violent winds to many districts in the city. Some residents went to have a walk even though gusty winds blew over the Hong Kong piers. This storm chaser said Typhoon Chaba was much stronger than Typhoon Lion Rock last year. This woman from Beijing said this was her first typhoon experience. The unsettled weather didn't trouble some residents' daily routine. Some people insisted on going fishing at the pier, and some went for a swim despite government warnings against the activity. Meanwhile, the government had received some reports of fallen trees and the collapse of bamboo scaffolding across the territory. No one has been reported injured as a result of this so far. Some public services were suspended today, including the official opening of the Hong Kong Palace Museum to the public. The museum was set to open its doors today, but due to the typhoon, the opening day has been postponed to tomorrow. The Western Kowloon Cultural Authority said people who have tickets for today can still visit the museum later, as their tickets will be extended for 180 days. Also, all vaccination centers closed their doors today. Affected people will receive an SMS message about their new appointments. Additionally, the suspended door-to-door vaccination service is set to resume next Friday. Christy Khan, TVB News.
In Macau, the typhoon signal number 8 is still in effect, but it will be replaced with signal number 3 at 8:30 p.m. The Macau Meteorological and Geophysical Bureau says the impact of Typhoon Chaba has significantly weakened after making landfall in Guangdong. It is expected that the strong winds will gradually ease, but local authorities predict that the city will still see occasional heavy showers and thunderstorms today and tomorrow. Hong Kong logged 2,227 new COVID-19 infections today, 143 of which are imported cases. The Center for Health Protection has reported one more BA.2.12.1 infection and two more BA.5 cases. Authorities added that the passenger flights operated by Turkish Airlines arriving in the city from Istanbul will be suspended for 5 days starting tomorrow because some passengers had tested positive for COVID upon their arrival. Meanwhile, 3 more COVID-related deaths were reported today. The director of Beijing's liaison office in Hong Kong today explained the significance of the speech about one country, two systems given by President Xi Jinping during his visit to the city. Under Typhoon Signal number 8, representatives of different sectors of the Hong Kong community attended a seminar on President Xi Jinping's speech. One of the key points was when the state leader said there is no reason to change the one country, two systems principle. Luo Huining, director of the central government's liaison office in the SAR, said it was a historic moment when Xi addressed the question as to how long the system should last. Luo said the speech provides a definitive answer and assurance to those who worry one country, two systems might change in future. He added that the speech has quashed rumors that aim to smear the one country, two systems policy. Luo then noted the SAR government must focus on improving governance in order to turn Hong Kong from stability to prosperity. Luo said development is the key to solving all kinds of issues in Hong Kong. He said all sectors in the city must learn how to seize opportunities, bearing in mind the idea that good things don't come to those who wait. Luo added it's important to ease sufferings in the community. He hopes the new administration can take the initiative to achieve better developments that can benefit the public. Today's seminar was attended by over 200 guests, including CEO of the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, Nicholas Agusin, CK Hutchison's Victor Lee, and Professor Nancy Yip, the incoming president of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. The only non-pro-establishment lawmaker, Tik Chi Yun, left in the middle of the event. Meanwhile, the State Council's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office said President Xi's visit to Hong Kong conveyed the message of care, confidence and hope, which injected new momentum into the implementation of one country, two systems. When President Xi Jinping was in Hong Kong earlier this week, one of the places he visited was the Science Park. There, he said he has high hopes for the city's innovation and technology development. The president spent around an hour at the Science Park to take a first-hand look at some of Hong Kong's advances in technology. He met with researchers, innovators and young entrepreneurs. He also stopped by the Hong Kong Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases. The center's director, Professor Nancy Yip, is going to be the next president of the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. She said President Xi hopes that the sample blood test for detecting Alzheimer's disease being developed by the center can be used in real medical situations soon. Welcome back to TVB News. Russia is stepping up its attack on Ukraine with explosions reported in the southern city of Mykolaiv. This comes one day after at least 21 people were killed when Russian missiles struck an apartment building in the Black Sea port of Odessa. Nazvi Karim reports.
The mayor of Mykolaiv sent telegram messages to residents saying, "Stay in shelters. There are powerful explosions in the city." Air raid sirens sounded across the area, with the region still in shock after the attack on Odessa, another key city in southern Ukraine. The Russians said they had destroyed 5 Ukrainian army command posts in the Donbass and Mykolaiv with high-precision weapons. Ukraine is still recovering from the Odessa missile attack, which authorities see as revenge by the Russians for their withdrawal of troops from Snake Island in the Black Sea a day earlier. A U.S. defense official said Russian forces appear to have used anti-ship missiles, a type of weapon the official said was not accurate against land targets. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack on Odessa, saying at least 21 people died, including a young boy. "I emphasize this is a deliberate, direct Russian terror," he said, "and not some mistake or an accidental missile strike." He said 4 people from one family were killed, including a 12-year-old boy named Dmitro. Russia denied targeting civilians, with Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov saying, "I would like to remind you of the words of the Russian president and the commander-in-chief that the Russian armed forces, in the course of the special military operation, do not work with civilian targets and civilian infrastructure. However, the Ukraine military says Russia has failed to keep its word on Snake Island, releasing surveillance video showing what they say are enemy planes dropping phosphorus bombs. Moscow denied bombing the island, saying they withdrew as a goodwill gesture to allow the movement of grain. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry said its forces continue to advance in the Lysychansk region near Severodonetsk. A spokesman said Russian troops had taken control of the main oil refinery where Ukraine troops were holed up, as well as a mine and gelatin factory. The spokesman said the Ukrainian army has suffered heavy losses in the region of around 190 fatalities. This fighter, who withdrew from Severodonetsk, said they had defended the city under hellish conditions. So it is true to say that if there was a hell on earth, it was in Severodonetsk, he added. As Ukrainians fight on the front lines, European allies pledged more aid. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, during a visit to Kiev, said his country would give €1 billion to the war effort.
After 5 months of terrible war, that Norway will pledge its solidarity with the people of Ukraine. For that amount of money, we will support your efforts to provide humanitarian aid to people in need, to support your reconstruction, and to support your right to defend yourself.
Nazri Karim, TVB News.
The UN's 5-day ocean conference in Lisbon has drawn to a close. During the event, experts warned urgent action is needed to protect the world's oceans, but a concrete multilateral agreement on the matter was not brokered among the attendees. Daniel Rell tells us more.
More than 6,000 senior officials, scientists and activists from more than 120 countries attended the 5-day UN Ocean Conference in the Portuguese capital, which was co-hosted by Kenya and Portugal. A declaration published on the final day of the event said delegates were deeply alarmed by the global emergency facing the ocean, whose sustainability is critical for the planet. The statement added that action is not advancing at the speed or scale required to meet the delegation's goals. The declaration concluded by calling for greater ambition at all levels to address the dire state of the ocean.
The message is clear. We have to move from talk to action, and time is not on our side. We have all agreed that there is unequivocal evidence that human activity, human interference, has resulted in rapid change of the biological, physical, and chemical properties of the ocean in an unprecedented manner.
However, a formal international agreement on biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction, which would address global warming, pollution and acidification's impact on the oceans, was not brokered in Lisbon. That treaty, which has been drafted over the past decade, aims to establish a comprehensive legal framework for the high seas. High seas cover around 70% of the Earth's surface and are vital for food supply and employment for billions of people around the globe. Further talks on the agreement are set to take place in New York in August. Still, environmental activists have called for an end to the stalemate.
We have heard many declarations before. We have seen voluntary commitments, pledges, a lot of fine words, but we also know that if declarations could save the oceans, then they wouldn't be near the brink of collapse. And what we need to see from world leaders is that when governments gather at the United Nations in August, that they finalize a strong global ocean treaty that can protect at least 30% of the world's oceans by 2030. And anything less than that is just not going to be enough.
Daniel Rell, TVB News.
Peruvian firefighters have extinguished a forest fire that had been burning near the ancient Inca city of Machu Picchu. But they remain alert for a possible resurgence of the blaze due to strong winds. The fire, which had engulfed an area of some 30 hectares, was started on Tuesday by farmers burning grass to prepare to sow new crops. The difficult access to the mountainous area had hampered the efforts of firefighters. Firefighting aircraft were deployed to battle the blaze. Machu Picchu, a complex of stone structures sitting atop a mountain, was built more than 500 years ago by the Incas. The breathtaking ruins, which have made the region Peru's top tourist destination, are considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And that's the news for tonight. Thanks for joining us.